Have you ever wondered what really separates the rich from the poor? It's actually not just about having a bigger bank account. Turns out it's all about a handful of specific mindsets and, the little choices they make every single day. So let's break down exactly what those are. Okay, to really wrap your head around this, just look at this. The wealthiest 1%, just 1% of people on the entire planet control almost half of all the money in the world. I mean, that is just an incredible concentration of wealth, right? It really makes you wonder, how on earth does a gap like that even happen? All right, let's zoom in even closer, because this is where it gets truly wild. You take the 80 richest people on the planet, just 80 individuals, and their combined wealth is the same as the poorest 3.5 billion people. Let that sink in. We're talking about a number of people that could fit in a large room having the same amount of money as half the world's population. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Oh, they were just born with a silver spoon, right? Inherited it all. But, and this is the surprising part, the data tells a totally different story. Get this, 69 out of those 80 people are actually self-made. They started out in the middle class, just like most of us, and built their fortunes from scratch. So that just begs the big question, doesn't it? If it's not about being born into some lucky family dynasty, then what is their secret? What are they doing differently? What are those specific mindsets and habits that give them such a massive financial edge? To really get to the bottom of this, we're going to follow a little story. Let's imagine two guys, we'll call them Rich John and Poor Tim. And here's the thing, they start out on a level playing field. I'm talking same city, similar middle-class families, heck, even a similar IQ. But somewhere along the line, their financial lives go in completely opposite directions. Let's dig in and find out why. Okay, so the first big split between John and Tim really comes down to how they look at their jobs. How they think about working, learning, and ultimately earning a living. So picture this. After a long, tough day at work, Tim comes home and does what a lot of us do. He crashes on the couch and binge watches some Netflix. Totally passive. John, on the other hand, sees that same free time completely differently. He sees it as an investment in himself. So instead of zoning out, he's hitting the books, studying for a new accreditation, because he knows that sharpening his skills is the surest way to get ahead. And this really shows a huge difference in how they think. See, Tim feels like he deserves more money because he's put in 10 years at the company. He's basically trading his time for dollars. John, though, he's paid for the value he brings. He lands a massive $10,000 bonus because he figured out a way to save the company $1 million. He's rewarded for his results, not just for showing up. But this whole value versus time thing is really just the tip of the iceberg. The next set of differences are even more important because they're not about what John and Tim do at work. It's about what's going on inside their heads. It's all about their money mindset. Okay, so when Tim gets paid, where does the money go? Poof, straight out the door. To his landlord, the electric company, all his bills, and at the end of the month, there's nothing left for him. But John, he completely flips that on its head. The very first person he pays when he gets his paycheck is himself. He automatically funnels money into his savings first. He makes his own future a priority, and then he figures out how to pay his bills with what's left over. And this shows a really powerful split in their thinking. Tim has what you'd call a fixed mindset. He sees a problem and thinks, well, I can't afford both. That's just the way it is. He hits a wall and stops. John, though, has a growth mindset. He sees the same problem and asks a totally different question. Okay, how can I get both? His brain immediately starts looking for solutions, for a way around the wall, maybe by starting a side hustle to make that extra cash. This next one is a classic. It's all about delaying gratification. Every morning, Tim needs that instant hit, that $5 fancy coffee. It feels good right now. But John, he skips that daily coffee, not because he's cheap, but because he's playing the long game. He knows that same $5 a day adds up, and he's trading that tiny instant pleasure for something way bigger down the road, like an amazing vacation he can pay for in cash. And hey, this isn't just some made-up story about coffee. It's actually backed up by science. A study out of Temple University found that this one skill, the ability to delay gratification, was a better predictor of who becomes wealthy than their age, their race, or even their background. It's all about being able to see that bigger reward in the future and having the discipline to wait for it. All right, so once you've got these mindsets locked in, the last piece of the puzzle is to build a solid financial structure around you. Think of it like building a fortress. It's not just about surviving when things get tough, it's about creating a base that actually lets you go out and find new opportunities. So let's say a layoff happens. For Tim, it's a catastrophe. His only source of income is gone and he's in full-on panic mode. But John, who gets the same bad news, stays calm. Why? Because he never put all his eggs in one basket. He knew that any single job is risky, so he'd already built other things on the side. An online business, an investment portfolio. He didn't just have a single wall of defense, he had a fortress. And check out how their social circles react. Tim goes to his buddies, and they all just sit around complaining about how unfair life is and what bad luck they have. It's a total echo chamber of negativity. But John? He reaches out to his network, and they don't just offer him a shoulder to cry on, they offer him opportunities, job leads, new business ideas. It just goes to show you, the people you surround yourself with can literally change your entire future. So when you step back and look at all these differences between John and Tim, you realize they're not just a bunch of random habits. They actually form a clear 7-step blueprint. A roadmap, really, that shows you the path from financial struggle to real prosperity. All right, so let's run through that blueprint one more time. Number 1, be a lifelong learner. 2, get paid for your value, not just your time. 3, pay yourself first always. 4, have a growth mindset. Ask, how can I, instead of saying, I can't. 5, get really good at delaying gratification. 6, build multiple income streams so you're never vulnerable. And finally, number 7, be very, very intentional about the people you hang out with. And that brings us right back to where we started, to the big picture. Why does any of this matter? Well, because over a lifetime, these 7 simple habits compound, and they lead to some truly staggering results, like the fact that the 9 richest men in the world now have as much wealth as the poorest 4 billion people combined. The gap is just massive. But the good news is, the habits that build the bridge across that gap, they're actually within reach for all of us. You see, in the end, the difference between John's life and Tim's life didn't come down to one big lottery win or one catastrophic event. It was built on a series of small, seemingly insignificant choices they made every single day. It's a powerful reminder that our financial destiny is built one habit at a time. So the only question left for you is, which habits are you going to choose?